Back in the game with Osher. I think I have time to do another quick episode here. Let's see how it goes. Once again, I'm at full mana. Man, I can't complain about that. That's, it's weird. I feel like maybe I'm not logging out when I think I'm logging out. I really don't know what the answer to that is, but... So we're going to carry on. Man, right out the gate with a magery game. No complaints here. Coming from straight fizzles. No complaints here. So we are at 57 real and 60.4 fake. I call it fake, and I don't know what the term is for that stat or that skill that's affected by stats. I don't know if there's an official term or not, but we are the proper Osher, and we are a macer. Things have been going well for us so far. We've been hitting up Shame and doing really well there. I'm not sure where else we can expand to. We did not get any treasure maps this last time, so we cannot do treasure hunting. That was the first map that was completed. I know I do need to make some more cloth here. I've only got 30 left, so I need to take... I guess I'm just cutting the cloth. I'm not making anything. Let's take 13 out of there. Dye it to our regular color. Cut it up. Boom, we've got 650 to go. Still have like 359 in backstock. That's plenty in case something goes wrong for us to be able to get some bandages out of the bank. It would be nice to have a go bag of regs so that I could just get up and roll. And I might do that real quick in case I ever need to go get my corpse. I think that would be a wise choice. Just something like 20 of each. Throw it in the bag so I could quickly get back to a corpse in the event that something happened. And really, that's normally what they sell, is about 20 of each. So I will just buy them out. And these will all go in the go bag. Another good thing to have in the go bag would be a rune. So that cost me about 600 gold. I'm going to go ahead and get a rune. Boom. So we'll put all of this in a backpack, and that way if something ever were to happen, we could grab this backpack, we'd have a rune ready to go, and we'd have some components. And I might even put some bandages in there too. So let's mark the new rune. With our increasingly good magery skills, we get a mage gain off of it. That's better than getting a rune. At this point, there are times where that might not be true. So we'll put the 20 of each in this backpack, arranged just so. I like to put... If it's a backpack, I like to put 4 components at the top and 4 at the bottom, because there's 8 total. There's no reason for this. It doesn't change anything. It's just my preference, visually. And then we'll put the new rune in there, make sure it says Moonglow. And we'll put like 50 bandages. This is my go bag. The only thing that could make it better is a quarterstaff. So maybe we will get one of those. So let's put in the old... Nope, let's buy 2 new quarterstaves. We'll throw this one away, because we've used it quite a bit. And we're going to buy 2 new quarterstaffs. The only thing you could do to make it better is add armor, but I can always get some from my extra bag. So let's get 2 quarterstaves. And one of those we're going to use right now for the future here, whatever we end up doing. And this one can go in the bank in the go bag. So now you see it's ready to go. I mean, that's the fundamentals of what we need for this character to function in the event that something went wrong. So that's good. It cost us about 700 gold to do that. That's not bad. And it's not like that's going bad. We can always use that at a later date for whatever purposes we have in mind. I'm going to keep pouring myself while I think about what it is we're going to go do. Shame, again, is always an option, but I've been there so much lately that I'd like to do something different. As long as it involves... There's another game. Doing great. As long as it involves casting energy bolts at enemies, I think we'll be fine. I could go back to Northern Britannia. I'm trying to think of a dungeon that would be ideal. Can't go to Destard. Just too many dragons. I don't have enough viability to be there. Wrong might be okay, but there's a lot of trash there. Trash mobs. Covetous, now that we can see, might be an option, but I think Earth Elementals are better than Harpies. So I don't know that going there would be a great idea. And the mouse is dying. It's weird. Sometimes the laser stops working, but the buttons still function when you click them, as you could see when I walked. So I don't really know what the exact deal is. I know we can't survive in Cove to do the Halloween quest. We just wouldn't make it. Back to dungeons. There's Deceit. We could get there now that we have a boat, and we do have a silver weapon. That wouldn't be the worst idea. There's a lot of undead there. But there's also really bad stuff like poison elements. There's not a lot of overworld spawn that gets to the higher stages. I'm going to go buy a few more components, regs for energy bolts, since I've used so many logging out and logging in. Just need like 20 or 30. So there's 30 pearl and 20 shade. Go ahead and get a little bit more. We should have a more successful time casting this recently. I mean, going forward is what I mean. $30. We don't quite need that much, but what's it matter? So, okay. So we're pretty much set to go do something. Just not sure what that something is yet. We could sail up and mark a rune just to have one at Deceit. That might not be the worst idea. If we did that, we would need the boat. Need to take the boat to the northern docks of Moonglow and pretty much head straight north, and we should get to Dagger Isle, which is the home of Deceit, as well as a shrine. Shrine there. Which, you know, hopefully we never have to use. So let's get on our boat. Where is that key? It's another problem with playing in non-full screen, in windowed mode rather, because I just can't quite see all the small details. Alright, we're going to raise the anchor and we're going to go forward. And we're just going to cast Energy Bolt, meditate along the way. Just the normal stuff that we would be doing if we were walking there. Like I said, you cannot walk here. There's no physical way to get here. There's no moon gates or anything that will take you to this island. But this could be a viable dungeon, and maybe we'll check it out as well once we mark a rune and put that rune safely in our bank. It'd be nice to have a rune book almost at this point, so that we could start organizing the runes, since we're going to get an increasing number of runes here. But that would require us purchasing from a player vendor, which is kind of against the rules, but I did kind of go back and forth early on as to whether or not I would purchase something like a rune book, because it's unlikely to run across a scribe in-game that could make a rune book for us. It's possible if I hung around the banks or whatnot. So we can make a stop here and we can defeat this water elemental. It's too far away. Okay, he's coming back. So let's first poison him. Then we'll energy bolt him. He's energy bolting us. Pretty good damage. And we'll try to finish him with an energy bolt too, just to keep that going. You know, I haven't seen any sea serpents while we've been out and about on the boat, but they're definitely out there. Sea serpents cast magic, I believe. They're interesting looking creatures. I think that they could have put more creatures out in the ocean. I think it wouldn't have hurt. Got a cure. Guess we can evaluate this guy. We're out of the sweet spot for meditation. Getting some magic resist. This wouldn't be the worst time to build up my resist with a fire field or something. Okay, so we need to go back right. Let's keep up with him. So notice how I was able to hit him from off the screen. That's kind of what I was talking about before, as at the top and bottom of your screens, you're still within a range to attack people or be aggroed. But on the corners left and right, that's not possible. I was talking about that quite a few episodes ago, so let's get our loot. 239 gold, 3 black pearl that we'll use for energy bolts. And then we'll keep on healing, and then we'll keep on heading toward Deceit to Dagger Isle. Might evaluate my horse since my mana's out of the sweet spot for, it's going to be out for a while till we get back to 30. Not sure, there we go, bandages did, we're still going, that's good. So Neo Steed here is going to be our target for evaluation while we're just riding around. And I do believe you don't need to go east or west, I think it's just straight north to get to Dagger Isle. I could be wrong, it shouldn't be too far of a ride. It should be closer than Valor Island was from Joel. But if I'm wrong, we'll end up on the other side of the world. And we'll just dock and try again another time. Yeah, I feel like let's just check and see if there's anything over here. Because if it was to the east or west, it would be slightly west offset. It's just been so long since I was sailing around that I don't remember. If we don't see anything and a few more tiles, I'm going to turn back north. Because I'm starting to think you had to go to the northwest corner of Moonglow and go straight north to hit it. Yep, there it is, in fact. There's a walrus. So this is it. In fact, that pathway takes you to the shrine. We'll stop by there real quick. We're just going to mark the rune and get out because we don't want to risk losing our boat. Dry dock it here. Let's put on Magic Reflect in case any untoward actions were to happen to us. We'd at least have some protection. So this goes through the mountain range. It cuts through the mountain range. And you can see there's a shrine here. This is the shrine of humility, maybe? Honesty. Someone's got a house at the Honesty Shrine. Fairly worn. No name of the house. Huh. I don't remember there ever being a bridge here. Maybe this is custom edition. So we are in the land of polar bears, walruses, and snow leopards. And looks like orcs. What was that? Mayor. Who's Mayor? Okay, this is one of those event NPCs. Maybe we can take out Mayor. I don't know how much damage he's going to do to me. He definitely hurts me more than I hurt him, but with poison we should be able to take him out. Damn, he does hurt. Maybe we'll just leave him here and come back and check on him. So for Deceit, we are looking for another pathway into the mountains, basically. There it is. So we can see it on the map. There's a lot of anvils and forges here for miners. This is a great place for miners as long as you can defend yourself against NPC enemies. Occasionally you'll have reds out here, I imagine, but not like you would on the OSI days. This was a very popular place for miners on OSI. So here's Deceit. Let's peek in. Okay, it's dark. Alright, let's mark our rune out here. Magery game. always had this idea in my head that, you know, a long time ago, that maybe I just needed to move a tile or just needed to eat something. But no, this is in line with my current skill level. But hey, so far I've gained 0.2 off of this. I'll sit here all day if I keep gaining magery. There's another one, 0.3. So we're definitely in a good fizzle gain territory for 6th circle. So as we continue to go up, we'll start to cast it more successfully with less fizzles. Man, this is 10, 12 tries. There we go. So that's Dagger Isle. Well, it says Deceit Entrance. Okay, that's cool. I guess it's flagged as being the entrance to Deceit here. Now we could go in and check it out, but first we need to drop our rune in our boat. I'm unsure about bringing the silver weapon at the moment. But let's get rid of the boat, and we'll drop our Deceit rune next to our Shame rune. Those can be our dungeon runes, and to the right are our town runes. Don't think we'll have any explicit use for this right now. I'm going to let my mana build back up a little bit before I dash back out there, because as it stands, I couldn't even recall in and out if I needed to. I forgot we need to go check on that clown that we poisoned too. So let's do that. We'll let our mana regenerate while we're looking at the clown. Boom. The power of recall. So recall was one of my favorite things about this game. The fact that any given tile in the game, you, the player, can choose to mark a rune there. You're not restricted to travel locations like you might in other MMOs, like take Asheron's Call, for example. There are portals that take you to different places in Asheron's Call, but you have to use those portals. You can tie to those portals and, you know, go back through where they take you, but that's the limitation. You can't just make a, you can't say, I like the spot, and I like what spawns here, so I'm going to mark a rune in this one spot. But in UO, if I like this particular tile for whatever reason, maybe I want to come back and hunt the spawn, maybe I want to place a house, maybe I just want to be able to get to this spot, I can mark a rune right here. Just right here. No questions asked. And then you can open a gate to it later to bring multiple people or NPCs, tames, whatever you want to do. I was always fascinated with the rune system in Ultima. I think it's one of the best travel systems in any MMO that I've ever played. You know, and I haven't played a lot of MMOs past the early 2000s. So maybe there's something like it, but a lot of times you simply do not have that freedom of travel. And in Ultima, it is a core part of the gameplay. And there's some griefing that can be done around runes. You know, if you're fighting this guy in a dungeon often, and you know he's a griefer, or you're having trouble with him, and you recall out, and you notice he recalls out to the same city, if you know exactly what tile that is, you can go place a box on top of his tile. And this can be done to you, so be careful. But you can place a box. It's got to be of a certain type. You know, it can't be a backpack. It has to be an object that is not traversable. You can't walk over it. So like a box or a chest or something like that, you could go put that on that tile, and then when he goes to recall, that spot is blocked and he can't get away. So this is, it kind of comes into PvP as well. It's just, I've never seen a system so interesting. So I'm going to try to get a couple hits on this guy. He just does a lot of damage to me. I would like to do Energy Bolt, but I want to keep my mana too at the same time. Man, he just does, he hits so fast. And I guess due to his bone armor, I just don't do much to him. But yeah, the travel system is great. So the fact that a player can open a gate to any tile in the game is amazing. I mean, there are some tiles you can't, but 99% of tiles in this game are traversable as far as for runes. And in the old days, the really old days, you could gate monsters. You could open a gate and lure a monster right through it, and he would come through it. So one of the common occurrences I saw in the past, you know, really long time ago in Ultima, people would gate in poison elementals at the bank. So even at Moonglow Bank, all of a sudden a gate would open and out would come a poison elemental. And the goal was just really to grief players. Those poison elementals do the highest possible poison damage, which is deadly poison, I think. They might even have a level above what the player can get with deadly poison. But, so if that thing hits you, or hit 2 or 3 people before the guards were called, that could cause some chaos right there. Because in those days, you would have, 10 people sitting at a given corner of a bank, because it was the commercial retail servers. But crazy stuff like that used to be able to happen. You cannot gate monsters on the second age. That is something they fixed going to the second age. Origin, OSI. So that was an official fix. But it was possible. So many things that they fixed over the years. And I don't blame them, for fixing the monsters. I love this. May the rest of thy day be pleasant. Thank you. Fare thee well. Time to go, huh? I'm glad I bought that extra set of Pearl and Nightshade because I'm the Fizzle Master right now. So whenever NPCs get to about 10% health, something like that, they start to try to run away. And I'm sure you've seen that, but that's the basic mechanic behind it. Damn. And occasionally they will reflag and attack you again, or re-aggro and come after you, even at low health. And it also depends on the monster. Some monsters do not run, but the vast majority of them do when they get to this stage. Try to finish him off, but I might have to use an energy bolt. Poison in my mace should do it, but it might not. Armor's still pretty good. 13 is the maximum with store-bought leather. I'm at 11, so I haven't had that much degradation. Got him. Let's see what he's got. 2 piles of gold, 428. So total of 537. Those are pretty profitable. Just can't defeat them on the regular. There's a magic hat. Let's see what that might do. And more Halloween candy. So nothing else. Well, wait. A full set of bone armor. That's not a bad thing for me. I'm kind of interested to wear that and see what the armor level is, but we'll check it out later. I guess we've got time. Let's just see real quick what kind of armor level that is. If I recall correctly, bone is like 28 with a full set, a brand new set. We've got to keep that on because... So we are getting 3 from the clothes and 1 from the neck piece. I still don't know where I guess I put my pants away. So that puts us to 14. Just the chest alone is better than our whole leather set. 20, 24, 28 with the neck piece. So 27 armor. And there's no dex loss from that. The only downside is we cannot meditate. So while we were raising meditation, bone is a no-go. But what an iconic look. Bone is awesome. It's my favorite armor set in the game. But I like the plate mail look too. But once we get meditation to a more acceptable level, we'll switch to using bone armor some. But that's the problem with bone armor and armor in general, is that it's going to make it impossible for you to meditate. But once our magery and meditation are closer to where we want it to be, and we're just kind of macing and defeating enemies and using magery as support, I don't think this character will turn into a full-on mage, but I have a hard time making any character in Ultima Online that doesn't use magery. So let's see what all we've got in here. This is like standard graveyard spawn. Skeletons, wraiths. There's a rare that spawns here. I think it spawns right here, though. I don't know. But it's a barrel that you can pick up and bring with you. Not that one. So I guess it's not here right now. Yeah, I'm pretty confident it spawns like right there, somewhere near the door. It's water elementals. I think this is a water elemental room. It has 2 of them. More skeletons, just basic low-level stuff. Need to cast an energy bolt. You can be my test subject. And we are closing in on the bone room. I think that's level 2. You have to get past some more undead type creatures. That's a dead end to our east. Yeah, we have to come down this way, and there are bone mages somewhere. That's a dead end up there. Some chests you can unlock. This is the legendary Bone Knight room where the bone wall would be. The bone wall would typically be right here, where there's 2 tiles that they can... No, only 1 tile enemies can pass. So they would line up here and fight the Bone Knights. We're not going to mess with Bone Knights. They do a lot of damage. Just going to see what else is down here. Gear mask, can't take it. This might be bone mages or something. More wraiths. And then over here, this should be the, yep, poison elemental room. There's nothing we can do about a poison elemental. That thing would absolutely destroy us. It's dangerous. It's one of the most dangerous creatures in the game. So it's interesting that it's on level 3 to see. It's the only place I can think of offhand that one spawns. Actually, down in Shame. There's one in Shame level 3 or 4 or something. Out near the mage tower. And there should be liches here. I only see 1 there, so 2. And then there should be some more liches down here. Wraiths? Weird. So there's only 2 liches in this area. Then as you proceed further... I don't know what this is. I think it's just a pit. Yeah, it's just a pit. This is like a lava room over here, but... I'm not sure what all spawns in it. Maybe this is the Bone Mage room. Fire elementals. It's kind of cool. And liches. So all kind of good stuff over here. Getting dangerous. And then we have at the very bottom, we'll have the Lich Lords. They are on this level. This is the final level, I believe, of Deceit. Through this path, and then there's a hidden door. If you have circle transparency on, you can kind of see that it's solid, and the rest of it is not. Because transparency does not work on doors. And so there's liches and lich lords in here. Should be anyway. Lich lord down there. Those guys are tough. I think they would dispel my blade spirits immediately, but we could try. There used to be a bug on, at least on OSI, where you could stand here and you'd have a lich down there, and you would stand on this tile, and you would cast energy vortex on this tile, and it would be able to safely fight the lich from up here. I don't know if you can do that here. Yeah, it's blocked, and that's why these candles are here, I bet, to perform the same function of blocking. But they wouldn't be able to attack you. They would just fight your summon. Guarantee it's blocked. Well, it's not blocked, but the Z-axis attack situation appears to have been fixed. So it cannot do damage to them down there. But that's how it worked on OSI. So they can hit it with magic, but that's about it. Let's see if we can cast a Blade Spirit down there. It looks... Well, I guess maybe it can hit them from up there. Okay, so it still works as it always did. See if we can put one there. Okay. Blade Spirits are definitely less than ideal, but looks like they might get the job done. That'd be kind of cool if we could get a Lich Lord killed and get the loot before someone came to kill us down here. So I don't know if there are people here or what. Trackers, things like that. some PK guilds have these trackers that they hide in these rooms. But I remember Lich Lord being pretty tough. Like, it would take multiple energy vortexes to take them out. Maybe 2. So one Blade Spirit is dead. The greater heal for us. Not going to need probably anything that we can find off this guy. I think we still need 1 level 8 scroll. You can see, if we had an energy vortex scroll, that would be great right here. Another thing I don't really like about using Blade Spirits down here is it keeps you frozen for so long. Let's try putting a Blade Spirit directly down there with the Lich Lord and see what happens. I shouldn't stand here because he could hit me with magery if that Blade Spirit disappears. And if you have a silver weapon and you're a strong fighter, you can fight these guys here. It's not completely out of the question. They're just very strong. I mean, I think this could work. Drop a couple of blade spirits down there, maybe 2 or 3. If he doesn't dispel them, then... Okay, he dispelled. So for some reason, they don't seem to dispel them up here. Gotta put my reflector right back on. So the Lich Lord, it is realistically out of our league, straight up. And I do think he will dispel it. I don't know why, but it seems like he's more likely to dispel it down there. Automatically, in fact. Let's try putting another one right here. This is a bad idea, really, because it leaves me with 0 mana. So let's just sit in the corner until we get 11 mana again. See, it went down there. I don't know why it walked down, but... Yeah, so the Lich Lord is out of our league. We can't really kill it without a lot of pain and effort. So I think we're going to leave it be for now, but interesting Tour of Deceit for sure. And that's the general layout of this dungeon. Really the ideal thing to be killing here is Lich Lords. But there are other things of interest, specifically regular Liches. Come on, 2 more mana. So at the very least, we did get a little bit of gold. We got a rune to Deceit for future use. We got 800 gold. We already gained some magery doing this. 0.7, that's been our highest skill gain this round, which makes sense because we weren't using... Out of sync? No, it's a bird. Because we weren't using anything else. Not really macing. We can identify this hat. Night sight, not so great. Can't wear it with our leather cap anyway. Keep evaluating this bird while we're sitting here. Mana's too low to gain meditation off of it right now. Ended up using a few bandages, nothing major. Actually, let's take the cloth. 20 cloth. We'll cut that up in a minute. Right now, maybe. So I'd say we're moving right along. Starting to expand our capabilities in terms of where we can go, what we can do. We're still far off from Lich Lords, which doesn't surprise me at all. Can't get into wind. Back to thinking about dungeons. Once you go out of level 1 shame, there's a lot of casters, you know, air elementals and such. So I do worry about going there. It's too bad we couldn't get that Lich Lord defeated. If we had energy vortexes, we could. whether it be scrolls or whether it be the ability to cast. And in this case, that is the one scroll we're missing from the 8th circle is Energy Vortex. So that's too bad. In terms of where else we could go, there's Dungeon Despise, but that I really don't like that dungeon. I think it's got a bunch of garbage in it. Could go to Fire Island, could try to go to, I think that would mostly end up in our death. Could go and get a rune there, though. And I think we can park a boat close enough to the temple to draw some things out. Problem is, we're going to have silver serpents there. We're going to have bad stuff there, just like the jungle was when we were trying to do the treasure map. Bad stuff. Guess we'll put the candy away. We don't need to have that on us. Maybe it can come in handy for something. I don't know. 89 items. We're getting pretty close to the item limit in the bank. The item limit is 125 items, but it has no weight limit, so you can put infinite stacks like this. You know, this counts as one item, even though it's 450 bolts. So you kind of have to start managing your bank at some point, or get a house to place all of your goodies in. Could try to go to the second age, the New Lands. Could check that out. There's a couple points of interest there. A lot of strong enemies. I really think the best bet is still just shame, to gain skill and shame for the moment. Let's get our reflect back up. I think we're still good on components. Let's go hit it up for a few minutes just to raise some skill. Ogre and a harpy. Right away. Yeah, it's crazy that magery and eval and meditation are my highest skills gained. You can tell we haven't fought much this time around. Just because combat's usually the fastest gainer. And, you know, we are getting up there in the skill, so it's not going to raise as fast as it has traditionally. Drop it for meditation. So, just the same technique for now. We're going to focus on energy bolts. Get a few points in macing if we're lucky. Just kind of develop the character a little further. Maybe next time we will go do liches. Magic pickaxe. I'm going to take that just to see what it ends up being. I think that's interesting. The only real benefit I can think of to having a magic pickaxe would be durability, maybe? I don't know if mining works on the same durability stat as combat itself does, so that's kind of an interesting question. You know, if you get a really durable pickaxe because of the modifiers, does that mean it lasts longer when you're mining? I don't think anybody would pay for that necessarily, but just kind of interesting anecdote. I think my bandages, yeah, they are not running. Let's do a vow. There we go. So we got a dex to trade off for an intelligence. For now, I'm going to lock it because I want dex to stay at 75, though in the future, like I said, I may take another 5 away from dex to have more even stats, but it's hard to sacrifice strength, really. Anything lower than 90, and I think is just a little too low. Later on in Ultima's lifespan, they changed the formula. For years, the formula was simply 1 strength is equal to 1 HP. And I think around UO Renaissance, I don't remember exactly when, but I think it was Renaissance, they changed the formula to be like strength divided by 2 plus 50 or something. So you could only have, it was something like that, don't quote me. So you had a minimum range, oops, another earth elemental, let's come down here. You had a minimum HP that you could ever have. And I think it was honestly close to 60. Something like that. I don't know. But I remember that at that point, it was hard to have very low health. Like, it was difficult because of that formula. Come on, bandages. This is a joke. I need to start using my healing scrolls, so now's just as good of a time as any. But at any rate, what that meant is that after a certain point of strength, you kind of capped out. You didn't get any more benefit from strength as far as hit points goes. And I think it was around 80 or so. So you could have 80 or so strength and still have 100 hit points. Like I say, that was later on in the game at Renaissance or so. So it doesn't affect us here in T2A. We use the classic formula of 1 strength is equal to 1 hit point. Whoa, come on now. These bandages aren't... There we go. Just having bad luck with the healing again. Okay, we healed. Let's meditate. Got another gain of meditation. I mean, really, you can't complain about this, you know, in almost an hour session, basically, and every time gaining that kind of meditation and magery. You just have to be diligent about it and make sure that you're using your timers effectively. So you can, I mean, this is how it would have been done in 1998 or whatever. You would have just tried to use it to the best of your ability. I mean, you could get jailed for AFK macroing in official servers. But you might have attended macro. You know, you might have sat there and set up an evaluating target on your horse and done that for 30 minutes or an hour. But, you know, most people were not macroing, I would say. Most people were playing their character up. And in that event, this is the kind of situation it would put you in. But it felt much different when you're doing that. To me, the feeling of macroing up a 7x character, it does not feel good. And I don't honestly like having a finished character. I don't like having every skill at 100. It makes me feel like there's nothing left to do or accomplish. I know that's not true because, you know, Ultima is pretty much what you make it, magery game. But I like, even on my finished characters, I like having incomplete characters. Like, I don't mind having 90-something magery. I'll give you an example. I did have my tamer on this shard, and I macroed up a lot of it. But I also played a lot of it. Like in the 50s and 60s, I would play the character actively and try to go tame. I mean, I might lure over, you know, 10 giant toads or whatever and then tame them with a macro while I was playing and then go do it again. But when I got to the higher numbers, I did macro on like hellhounds and stuff, but it was challenging. But the point is I stopped macroing when I got to the ability to tame dragons, which is like 94. And I have not macroed that skill since, and now it's at GM because I would tame a lot of dragons, tame drakes, tame nightmares and things like that. So I gained the last 6 points all authentically, and it just felt better. And you know, it's both awesome to get GM taming, but it's also a little bit of a letdown because I know I won't be gaining that point 1 every so often to give me something to celebrate or look forward to. I know probably a lot of people don't think that way. So there's our first strength to intelligence. But that's how I feel. So I'm not really big on macroing up to 100 on all my characters. Even if I do macro some, I'd rather play it. Same thing with my Tamer's Magery. It's not at 100. You know, it was at, I think it's at 80. It was at 80 something a few weeks ago. And just through playing, just through gating around my tames, resurrecting my daughter when she's playing or whatever, you know, using 8th Circle, Energy Vortex, I've gotten it up to 92. And there's just something that feels more natural and better about that to me. So even if I do macro, I tend to use a mixture of macroing and gameplay. Like my main tank doesn't even have 100 100 in combat skill, I don't think, or tactics. And that does put you at a disadvantage. You know, it does. Because other people have 100 in their skills most of the time. They're not playing working characters. But whatever. You know, I don't really care that much. Another failure of bandages. Over and over. Let's try to step away, heal up, cast an energy bolt, meditate. But yeah, that natural sense of progression, I think at times it can be a little slow depending on the skill, but otherwise I think they pretty much nailed it in Ultima Online. And Asheron's Call offers a similar feeling in terms of skills, raising them, and so on and so forth. I just don't like that Asheron's Call has a level system. I don't really like levels in MMOs. I like the way this is. I like the way that even, you know, characters are always on semi-level playing field once they get to a certain point. You don't have to be level 50 to interact with level 50s. You know, you can go mess with a GM, 7x GM, fight him if you want to. And it's conceivable that you could win without having 7x GM yourself. You don't have to be. You could be a working character with 90 in some skills, 80 in others, and you could still be the better player. It's just a different feel than a level-based system. And UO was my first MMO, and I still love it the most to this day. I tried World of Warcraft, things like that. I did not like it very much. It has its own appeal, but not to me so much. I think the only other online game I played before playing Ultima would have been Diablo. And, you know, that was limited to 4 players. And I think in the sequel, it's limited to 8 players, if I recall correctly. But this was like a whole different thing. I mean, logging in and knowing that there are hundreds or thousands of people playing, sharing the same world as you, it was just totally unique at that time. I think Sierra had an MMO type game called The Realm. I always remember seeing it advertised on my Quest for Glory games, you know, the boxes or inserts or whatever, but I never did play The Realm, or if I did, I didn't play it very much. I might have tried the free trial that they give you. And I never messed with EverQuest. I know a lot of people left Ultima Online for EverQuest, but I never even tried it. I have contemplated at some points playing on one of the free servers, a classic EverQuest server or something, just to see what it was like. But to this day, I still have not. Still haven't gained a full point in magery this round. I think, honestly, it's just really tough to gain 1.0 in magery in the time that we're allotting. What is this? Torch. Okay, it looked really weird. There we go, 0.9. Are we going to do it? Are we going to get 1.0? We did. We're at 1.0. Amazing. So this is going to be the first time in a long time, if ever in this series, that we've gained more than 1.0 in magery in one episode. I'm not 100% sure, but if it has been done before, it's one of the few times for this character, Asher. Either way, I'm really pleased with that. 57.9 and 61.4. That's awesome. But switching, and there's a healing game. Those are so very rare. And meditation is at the mid-20s, starting to look nicer and nicer. Starting to become much more of a mage. But even if we do kind of pivot this character to mage, which I don't think we will, because I want these even stats. Yeah, I think it's always going to be kind of a battle mage of sorts, and not in the sense of tank mages like people like to use. Because we're going to keep healing, so we're going to always have healing. We're going to always have our combat skills. We're going to always have magery. So it's going to be an interesting mix. And we may end up getting some arms lore. Since we can't buy from player vendors, we're going to need to know the status of our equipment in general. Particularly the weapon. But right now, with the heavy focus on magery and meditation, I just don't... There's not a lot of good options to mess with it. Another failure. Anatomy would also help healing, but, you know, we're back to that same problem of those being very slow skills to raise. Another failure. Come on, just knock him out. Wow. At least I got a successful heal. Oops. No caloric pour. Corp pour. There's another magery game. Amazing. Let's get our money and our bread, our literal and our figurative bread. Did my bandage timer go? Yes. Poison him just because we're kind of in a weakened state right now. Another failure. Another failure. So we're just going to sit back for a second so we can heal. Glad I poisoned this guy. Gain meditation, gain some skill while we're sitting here waiting for this to drop. There we go. I think we can trigger meditation again. Yep. Man, already at half health that fast. This guy's just destroying us. Might drop a greater heal. Is our armor down? Down to a 10, but shouldn't make that much of a difference. Yeah, meditation is the #1 skill gained this time around. 1.6 right now. Very good. Guess macing is now tied for it. Take the crossbow, just see what it is. Got 1,200 gold. I think we might kill a couple more. Maybe one more at least. Haven't been able to cast as much energy bolts as I'd like. Yeah, starting to get more successful at 6 circle casts. Guess I should be using bandages right now. Successful heal. Get on the other side of him so he starts running away from the spawn. Yep, because here it comes. Okay, it's time to switch away from Eval, do meditation because I'm in the sweet spot. I need to have about 75% mana left. So if you think about that, 2.5 per 10, so 2.5 times 5, so about 15. Guess I'll get this guy too. So now when I've got a larger amount of mana, like over 40, I'm starting to be pretty successful at meditating. Kind of walking away so I can get more uninterrupted healing time. Less finger slippage. Let him catch up, do one hit. Man, I still failed healing. Come on. Meditation game. Failed, but I got a healing gain. I'll take that. Can't focus or concentration. Doesn't matter whether we fail or succeed at meditation, it just matters that we gain a point at this moment. Another bandage failure. Okay, lights out. Another bandage failure. Just gonna grade or heal at this point. It's not great to be that low in a dungeon. I don't even like being at half health. I've grown too comfortable being here. Someone could come along and ruin my day for sure. But, like I say, it's nothing that can't be replaced. Okay, let's head out of here. Let's see what these magic items are, just for fun. Durable, accurate pickaxe. Pretty awful. Crossbow of ruin, pretty awful. Well, knew that was going to be the case, basically. So this time around, we got some good skill gains. I mean, almost 2 in macing, almost 2 in meditation, 1.5 in eval. Meditation is tied with macing as the #1 gainer this time around. Magery was 1.1, so that was better than usual. I'm going to run out my mana again, as I always do, because when I log back in later, it'll be full. Don't want to miss that opportunity for a free cast, basically. See if I can get one more gain on meditation would be nice before I log out. Just to make that my top gaining skill. Then we gain almost a point in tactics. Half a point in wrestling. There we go. And a little bit of resist, not much. There's another magery gain to close things out. 1.2. So I'll cast one more E-bolt. There's another gain, 1.3 on a roll. Let's eat some cheese. Eat some more cheese. Okay, so that worked out. Got a nice roll there. So 1.3 magery is what was in the end was gained. I'll cast Reflect just to have it on, even though I'll probably nuke it second I log on next time. But yep, comment, subscribe, like the video. Thank you for checking it out, and we'll see you next time on episode 17 of our no macro, no AFK skill gain, Osher gameplay Ultima Online playthrough. Let's play.